Well, good morning. Welcome to Debbie's Back Porch. I'm going to have to ask you to excuse my stuffy nose. 'Tis the season. And speaking of the season, I went to a Hanukkah party last night, and I brought the Schmear. And if you don't know what Schmear is, it's simply a spread made of cream cheese and whatever you like. And this is my favorite Schmear recipe. It goes on a bagel. Here are the ingredients. Please pause and write them down. And hey, while you're paused, give us a thumbs up. And if you subscribe and click on the little bell up in the top right, you'll get a notice when I post new videos about twice a week. Now let's get cooking. So let's go over the ingredients. I've got 3 8-ounce packages of full-fat cream cheese. And I have here some wild Nova salmon. It is the deli sliced. It's smoked. And I have 1 bunch of green onions. You can substitute plain onions. I've got garlic powder. I've got some red pepper flakes. I've got some salt. I have a little bit of parsley here. I'll also use 2 tablespoons of sour cream. And I have here my tiny food processor cup, and I'm just going to cut these onions up. I washed them and took off any little bad leaves. I may have to pull another couple off. And I just cut them up. Oh, I don't know, that's about an inch, inch and a half. I'm going to blend these up. Now, let me just say at the beginning, I could just put everything in the big food processor and blend it up. But then I would have everything incorporated into little small pieces. And I like for there to be chunks. So I do it separately. And I'll show you how I do that. As I'm doing it, you should know, you could put it all in a big food processor. I'm going to add about a half teaspoonful of salt. This is kosher salt, not that it matters. I just prefer kosher salt. And then I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoonful of garlic powder. This is to taste. If you want it more garlicky, add more. But a 1/4 teaspoonful of garlic powder sends it all through. And if you want to use garlic salt, then just reduce your regular salt. And then I'm going to add some red pepper flakes. You can use black pepper if you prefer. This gives a little color and a little bite, so that's what I like. Then I'm going to add the parsley, and you know it's mostly for color. If you don't have green onions, you can just use about half cup of white onions, and then you really do want to use the parsley because the green color is pretty. Parsley brings some flavor, but not much, but it's always pretty. So I put that in, and I'm going to do this in my little cup here. And I'm just going to chop all this together, but I don't want to chop it too finely. I don't want it to turn into mush. I want there to be some chunks, but small chunks of onions and parsley. So I'll chop them up enough to release the flavor, but not to make a mush. That's about what you want right there. So here's my cream cheese. I broke it up with a fork a little, and then I'm adding, this is a heaping tablespoonful, so I've put 2 tablespoons full as your measurement. And I'm going to beat this up with my little hand mixer, and really I'm already wishing I'd gotten a bigger bowl. You know I do that all the time. But I just want to beat it, soften it, beat in that sour cream, and that's really for texture more than flavor. And as I said earlier, you could do the whole thing in a big blender, but that's not really the texture I'm going for. So let me just put these little ground up ingredients in here, and I'm going to mix it all together. Get them all. Don't want to lose any of it. This is where the flavor is. And a Schmear, or a spread for bagels, always has cream cheese and generally smoked salmon or lox. But the rest of the ingredients are up to you. If I had had some red pepper, and I usually do have red pepper, I would have put some chopped up red pepper in with the onions and parsley. And that adds a really nice color and flavor. But I think you also eat with your eyes. So I've got that all mixed up. You can see it's still pretty firm. And then I'm going to add the smoked salmon, and I'm going to cut this in fairly large chunks. It's very soft. It spreads easily, so you can leave it in big chunks. And this is the main reason I don't use a big food processor for the whole thing. I want there to be nice big chunks of salmon and some good-sized chunks of onion and red pepper if I had it. So I'm just going to stir these nice big pieces in. I'll do this with both packs. Now, you know, an option to do with this same recipe is if you can get the salmon that's in the nice big pieces, you can roll, put a dab of this inside a large piece of salmon and roll it up. Stick a toothpick through it and let it chill, and then you can slice it and serve it as finger food, as an appetizer to anything. And while, you know, you think of a schmear as going on a bagel, the little smoked salmon rolls are to die for. People just go crazy over them. And they're really a pretty simple appetizer. So here we go. I've got this, I'm mixing this all in. You can see the big chunks of the salmon, and the green from the onions and the parsley is really evident. I'm going to finish stirring this up, and then I'm going to clean up my bowl a little bit and get this ready to serve. And this is firm enough you can shape it into a ball. You can serve it on an appetizer plate as little balls, pre-portioned. Or as I said, you can roll it up in some salmon rolls. I'm going to give it a little taste just to see if it needed any salt or more garlic, but I'm sure it's fine just as it is. And over here in the wings, I have a bagel. So I'm going to plate this up and show you what we got. So no, this is not a homemade bagel. This is a bought bagel. But you know, I'm going to make homemade bagels in a couple weeks. I'll share that with you. But here's my bagel, and I'm going to put a great big dab of this spread, this schmear. I want it to cover the whole bagel. And you can see the texture here. It's nice and firm, but it spreads very easily. Ready for a bite? Well, I'm ready for a bite. You can admire first, though. You know, as I said, you eat with your eyes. You can see all that nice salmon in there. And you know, I love this stuff. I don't eat it very often. I really don't eat many bagels. But this tastes like the holidays to me. Thank you for joining us on Debbie's Back Porch. I really hope you try this, whether you go to a Hanukkah party or not. Hope to see you again tomorrow.